Recording in progress.
Good afternoon. It is now 4 o'clock. I would like to call the Richland County Office of Small Business Ad Hoc Committee meeting to order. Madam Clerk, can you call the roll, please?
Pugh,
Here.
Little, here. Barron,
Here.
Aline,
Here.
Newton.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Before we go any further, I'd like to welcome my colleagues that are not a part of the committee to this committee meeting. Allison Teratio, thank you for joining us. And Mr. Paul Livingston, as well as our chair, Jessica Mackey. Thank you guys for joining us. And Jason Brenham, thank you for joining us. Number 2 on the agenda is election of chair.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Barron, you recognize?
I'd like to.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Yes. I'd like to open the floor for nominations for chair. Ms. Barron, you're recognized.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to nominate Councilman Derek Pugh. Second.
I will close the floor for nominations. Is there a second?
Second.
Yep. So it's been moved and properly seconded. Madam Clerk, can you call the vote, please?
Pugh,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
Thank you very much. I would like to take a moment and thank my colleagues for allowing me to chair this committee and having faith in me to be able to move this committee forward. Thanks a lot. On to item number 3 on the agenda is the approval of minutes from December the 10th, 2024.
Move to approve. Second.
All right, it's been properly moved and seconded. Madam Clerk, could you call for the vote, please?
Pugh,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
All right. Item 4 on the agenda is adoption of the agenda. Mr. Brown, is there any deletions or changes?
No
to the
requested
agenda?
changes, Mr. Chair.
All right, thank you very much. I entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
All right, it's been properly moved and seconded. Madam Clerk, can you call for the vote, please?
Pugh,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
All right. Number 5 on the agenda is items for action. I would like to recognize Director Green.
Thank you and good afternoon. What we have before us as far as the briefing documents, the staff is actually, we've reviewed some of the eligibility requirements for the SLBE program. Many of these have not been changed since the inception of the program. So what we've done is we've outlined areas where we needed to make just a couple of changes in 2 areas. One of those being the schedule of size standards for the certifying areas that we certify our businesses in, which are basically 5 areas, but we're looking to increase the size standards for construction, architecture, and engineering. Part of the ordinance basically states that this should be reviewed regularly, and since we have not made any changes to those size standards, and there has been a huge impact as far as COVID is concerned on the cost of goods sold, that's impacted a lot of industries. So we're asking for an increase in the size standards for constructions from 7 million to 10 million. And then architecture and engineering, architecture is at 3 million. We want to move that to 5 million as well as engineering, which is at 2.5. We want to move it to 5 million. Also with that, we're looking at the certification period. We currently have a 2-year certification period when we review some of the other counties and cities and the state as well. We all use a lot of the same documents, but those certification periods have ranged anywhere from 3 to 5 years. And for us, 3 years would make sense. It also allows us to stay on top of the credentials for each of our businesses that require different types of credentials to be submitted or kept up every year, especially with business licensing. So we're also, looking to move that from 2 years to 3 years as well.
I do have a question, Director Green. Exactly how old are these standards?
So the standards are from 2013.
13. So these new standards would bring us up comparable to everybody else?
It would. If you
Okay.
take a look at SBA kind of reviews theirs every so many years. And so the last time the SBA reviewed theirs was right after COVID and kind of made some increases. So we're overdue for the increases.
But what is the standard? What is the standard when it comes to review time?
The standard for review time. For our program, according to ordinance, we should really review these every year just to make sure that we are within the market conditions. If everything looks fine, we can continue with the standards, but we also take a look at if SBA is making certain changes, we want to review ours, but however, we want to make sure that we still remain small, that we don't allow the thresholds to become too large, that we're no longer considered that small local business.
Got it. So going forward, would that be the standard practice in this office?
It will.
Thank you.
Yes.
All right. Anyone? Ms. Newton, you recognize?
I don't have a question, I just have a comment, so I can wait if Ms. Mackey had a question.
Thank you. When you talk about making the change in kind of going from that review of a 2-year to a 3-year period, can you talk about how you would implement that now? So where we are with folks now, does everybody kind of start anew this year, or is this a rolling cycle, or how do you go about
So
making
what
that
we
change?
do is we start taking a look at the renewals coming up 90 days out. We're just going to add a year moving forward
And then just continue?
and continue
That
from there.
on.
Yep.
And one more question.
Go ahead, Ms.
And then with the dollar amount, like you talked about increasing it, do we have businesses that I guess maybe didn't fall in that now they'll get the title?
We
or-
do, and so we've kept a record of that. So we'll basically give them a call and let them know that they're within the threshold so that they can reapply.
Thank you.
Ms. Newton, you recognize?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I think that these recommendations make a lot of sense, and I just wanted to thank y'all for redlining and providing the whole code, but also for redlining and making it so easy just to see the changes that you want to make. It is greatly appreciated over here, so
Sure.
thank you.
Thanks.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, Ms. Newton, you recognize?
I move to forward these recommendations to full council for approval.
Second.
It's been moved and properly second. Any discussion? If not, Madam Clerk, can you call for the vote, please?
Pugh,
Yes.
Little, Barron,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
All right. Item number 5B, Mr. Wright,
Yes.
are we still within guidelines since during the adoption of the agenda, we didn't add that this needed to be an executive session item?
Yes, any item can be discussed in executive session if it's pursuant to the correct reasons in the FOIA statute. So this would apply if necessary, so it would apply.
Okay, so you can continue, sir.
And this is this disparity study, next steps, and pursuant to 30-4-70A2, I think we need to go into executive session to receive legal advice.
Okay, I would entertain a motion for executive session for item 5B.
Move to go into executive session.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Madam Clerk, can you call for the vote, please? Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes?
Aline,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
All right, we're now in executive session. Yes.
Just for the record, I do want to say that, for executive session, you know, the council did receive, or the committee did receive legal advice pursuant to 30-4-70A2 as well.
Thank you, sir. I apologize for not acknowledging that.
No problem.
Item number 6A, Director Green, you recognize.
Thank you. So we discussed in December about the revolving loan program. You guys had asked that we take a look at other counties that may be similar or offer similar programs. We have been looking at other counties to see what types of programs that they've offered, what type of funding sources, and so forth. And what we have right now, and we're still doing some research, but what we would like to do is to take it. We've looked at the Charlotte CBI Business Inclusion System, which is large, but they have some components of the program that are similar to what we would offer here at Richland County. We're also looking at Mecklenburg County, Charleston, Berkeley, Dorchester, Tri-County also has a revolving loan fund, and Catawba City or Regional County of Councils also. So in looking at several of this, what we would like to do is we want to outline kind of a couple of options. I know that we talked about having an in-house program with OSBO where we'll have a lender and a compliance specialist. What we want to do is take a look at what that program would look like totally in-house. We've sourced and looked at different forms and software that may be needed and kind of put that together, put all the numbers together for you. But also, as another option, we wanted to take a look at if we totally used a third party to administer the program. It appears that most of the counties that have a revolving loan fund, they have used EDA fund, economic development funds. What has happened is that a lot of these programs have been in existence for a while, so they've become defederalized. So now they've become more like cash, and they're able to not be scrutinized to some of the EDA requirements. So trying to take a look at, with us starting the fund, I know we talked about the possibility of looking to get an EDA grant of anywhere from $1 million to $1.7 million. We've looked at and kind of broken down other counties and cities. If we took a look at maybe a $2 million EDA grant, what would that look like? And so what we want to do is take and break it down if we do it in-house, and then if we actually use a third party to actually do this. And this could be done with a bank, with another financial institution. And what it could allow is that the dollars would sit with that particular organization. We give them what the lending strategy is. And there's a couple ways we would actually be paying that third party, whether it be a certain percentage and they handle any loan losses, or there's a possibility that we pay them per loan, those types of things. There's a number of ways that we can structure this. So we want to be able to bring before you like a couple different options so that we kind of know what we're dealing with dollar-wise for either one to see what you would have more of an appetite for. I can say that if we look for a third party, whether it be with a bank or a financial institution, they already have the infrastructure in place to service loans, the platform and all of that, which may be advantageous. They handle the collections. They're already doing this. It would just be a discussion around the fees that would be involved in order for them to administer it, and that it falls within the EDA requirements. The thought process, too, is that maybe we look at an 18-month pilot if we do this. If everything is going well, it's going to recapitalize anyway, but it may be a situation where we have even more people looking for loans and we can go back to EDA if we needed additional funds. But that could be kind of a starting space for us, and then we would come back with everything kind of laid out for you all with both scenarios.
Gotcha. So
Yeah.
at our next meeting, we will have that information?
Yes. If you can you give me, we're bringing on staff, and there's just a lot of components. So I'm thinking towards the end of April, we should be able to have everything, beginning of May, we should have everything kind of lined out for both programs.
Thank you, ma'am. Anybody has any questions? Any questions?
Mr. Chair.
Yes,
So just quickly, so when you bring that for us, that'll be in our briefing document, and we'll have all those details that we're able to look at in advance?
Yes, that will be a part of, yes.
Thank you.
Director Green, thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Thank you so
All
much.
right. Now to item 7 on the agenda.
Second?
All right. Madam Clerk, it's been moved and properly second. Can you call for the vote, please?
Pugh,
Yes.
Little,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Aline,
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Motion approved.
We now adjourn.